Mustang,
Hey, buddy.
drummer extraordinaire from the band No Filter. One of my favorite bands and probably one of the best bands in the area.
Thank you for that.
How'd you get involved with No Filter?
They found me not long after I moved to Florida. I'd been living in Florida for about a year. I was playing in a bunch of random bands, doing drummer for hire stuff, bartending during the day, just loving it. And I had a profile on Bandmix. You've heard of Bandmix?
Of course.
Yeah, it's like Craigslist for musicians. And I get this message from this guy named Derek wanting to know if I want to come and audition for this band called No Filter. And because I was still very new here, I didn't know who was who in
Now,
like the cover
approximately what
band
year
scene.
was this?
This was 2016.
Okay.
So at this point, No Filter had been a band for about a year. It was still kind of in the baby stages. So long story short, I went and auditioned for the band. I got hired. I got the gig. And 8 years later, going on 9 years,
Isn't that
I'm
incredible?
still in the band. Yes, it is incredible.
So that means you're having fun.
Oh my God.
Because you wouldn't be
Time of
that-
my
yeah,
life.
Of course.
I'm usually like 2 to 5 years in a band tops. I'm very nomadic. I like to move around. I like to move around to different cities. I am so happy in this band. And I think the 8 years that I've been in the band goes to show that. But going on 10 years in Florida, 8 years in No Filter.
Now you guys have so much work that you don't like have a chance to like fill in with some other band or jam with some other people, right?
Not so much. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with how busy they keep me. I can branch off every so often and do like some studio work here and there and things like that. But honestly, I get everything I need out of that band. So needing to go off and do other projects doesn't even really interest me.
So I'm going to ask you this question. How would you describe somebody that has not seen No Filter?
Oh,
How
that's a
would
good
you
question.
how would you describe the No Filter experience?
I would say, so out the gate, we're a cover band. We're a party band. We do everything from like 70s to now. But we also have a ginormous amount of production that we bring with us. So we have video screens, we have lights, we have hazers. We do this whole trash can jam thing halfway between our set.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, how that started, but we'll come back
Oh
to
God,
that.
I wish I could take credit for that, but go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, it's very cool. So those are viewers that are watching and listening. What No Filter does is in the middle of your set, you bring up these, I want to say garbage cans.
Yeah.
And you all have sticks that are pretty much lit up, like they're fluorescent.
So they're actually wrapped in Dayglow tape, and the
Okay.
black lights pick them up, so they look like they're glowing
badass.
on stage.
So the four of you
Yeah.
are across in a row, playing along to a track, some really badass, kick-ass rock and roll, and you're all drumming to it.
It's so much fun. It's so
And
much
it looks
fun.
cool. I
It's
mean, it looks like a Blue Man thing.
It kind of is. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a little bit of Blue Man, a little bit of Stomp, and like definitely putting our own spin on it. So we've got like 2 55-gallon drums, and then we have 2 like classic old school trash cans with a couple of 5-gallon buckets hanging off of it. And we just go to town. And like we have like a whole orchestrated thing that we do, this whole drum line thing on the trash
It's
cans.
wonderful.
And it sounds cool, it's visually cool, and it's so much fun because it gives us a chance to kind of put down our instruments, all come to the front of the stage together and rock out together.
Plus, I think your fans that come see you regularly like to see that. It's like part of the
They
show.
do.
Yeah.
It's a question we get asked a lot on break, like, oh, well, when you guys gonna do the trash can thing? And like, no, don't worry, it's coming, and we promise.
Some of the words that I use to describe No Filter, I would say theatrical.
That's fair.
Very much
Yep.
so. I would say mesmerizing.
Oh, thank you.
I think that with the high quality production that you guys have, and I'm talking like I've seen your gear up close. I've walked up to the stage like before you guys go on, and I'm like,
We've got
you
some fun
all
toys.
high end stuff. I mean, you got the best of the best, no doubt.
Well, in the early days when I first joined the band, everything was very DIY. You know, like all of the screens and the lights were pretty much homemade. Derek is kind of a mastermind. He knows how to put that stuff together.
Brains. He's like the Oz, right?
Derek is the
He's the
brain. So
wizard.
Derek Scheib and Matt Simmons started the band in 2015, and they had both been cutting their teeth in the music scene here for years. Matt's actually born and raised Floridian. And
Matt's the guitar player.
Matt's the guitar player, correct.
And Derek plays.
Derek is a little bit of everything. He'll do keytar, guitar, vocals. Now he's pulling back a little bit so he can more of like be in the management position and kind of do all the booking and do all the production and things
He's got
like
a
that.
lot on his plate because you guys
I
are always working, man.
Don't know how he does it.
I mean, really,
He's
you guys are
very
busy.
good at what he does.
You're
He's very
busy.
good.
And you travel. You guys are all over the place.
Yeah,
Man.
we've been traveling a lot more now. We are finishing up a very, very busy 2024. We did a cruise. We were up in South Carolina, up in Myrtle Beach. We were in Mexico. I can't even remember. We've been to so many
So
places.
for a cover band, you guys are making some bank, man, and you're working.
It blows my mind. We are very, very lucky. Very, very lucky because we've experience an amount of success that a cover band doesn't usually get to experience, and that does not fall short with us.
Well, the reason being is that the product is excellent. For an
Well,
example,
thank you.
you guys play well, you sound fantastic, the visuals are stunning, right? I mean, I like when you're drumming and your hair is blowing, you got
It's
the fan on the hair.
literally the thing
It looks
people
cool.
want to talk to me about the
It's
most
cool,
is the
man.
fan. They're like, "Do you have a fan? What is that?" I'm like, "Literally, it's a $50 Home Depot fan. You
No,
can
but
go
it
buy
works,
one.
man. It works. And your
Get
lighting,
that white
you
snake
guys are all very
effect."
well lit. See, here's the problem with Jacked Up. We don't have any production of anything. We suck in production.
That's fine
So
though.
we're trying to upgrade it. So the one thing I'm learning by seeing you guys, 22N,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
is that you guys you don't just light the stage, you light the musicians. Like the performers are lit. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It kind of tells a story almost, like when you have a certain amount of like professional production on stage, especially with the lighting. So depending on who is singing in the song, or if there's like a little drum solo or there's a guitar solo, the lighting will accent that. So it kind of like tells the
Correct.
showgoer where to look on stage. So it kind of like tells the story as the show goes along, which adds a certain element that is really interesting to the show.
I think that's what separates you from the other bands, is that it's a production in the sense that
Yeah.
it's almost choreographed. You know, the way that you guys perform with the lights and the sound and the starts and the stops, you know, it's a show. You're putting on a show. It's like people can be impressed. Was it, you do 90-minute sets, 60-minute sets?
90-minute sets.
Okay. So let's go back to the beginning. So like when you guys come into a venue, you have a crew that helps you set up.
Correct.
Okay. What time are you getting there with your drums? You getting there 2 hours before, 3 hours before?
So because we have two bands operating at the same time, we actually have two trailers with two trucks. So one truck will go to one show, one truck will go to the other. So
Okay.
that truck will have all of the lighting, the screens, drums, all the things for the stage show. And then each musician shows up with their appropriate guitars. I show up with my personal snare drum, pedal, cymbals, things like that. So we've got it worked out in that respect. The crew usually shows up about, maybe about 2 hours before to set up all the production. And then we're usually rolling in an hour to hour 15 to do sound check. And then
Are your
get
drums set
settled
up when
in.
you get there?
They are.
How? Oh my God! How lucky are you?
I'm so lucky.
Is that because
I
you're a
feel
woman, or
so
is it
spoiled.
because you're just
No, it's
got
not
a good
because I'm
team?
a
You got
woman.
a good
Not at
team.
all. No, it wasn't always this way. Like in the beginning, we did everything ourselves. We had no crew. We worked ourselves up to this. We worked really hard to get to this point.
Bravo!
Thank
I mean,
you.
that's what I aspire to do. I could
And
just
you
show
will.
up and it was like everything's plugged in. That'd be
Oh, you'll get there.
fantastic.
You'll definitely get there.
So, all right. So you show up at a set, everything's set up. You do
Yeah.
your sound check, okay, and then you come off stage, right? You probably keep a nice clear stage. You guys
Yeah,
come on
everything
up.
is very tidy,
Right,
very,
right,
very
right, right.
tidy.
And you do
It
your
has
thing.
to be because everybody's running around, everybody's changing instruments, running back and forth across the stage. Like it has to be extremely tidy. Otherwise, someone's rolling an ankle.
So it's 90 minutes of just nonstop music.
Nonstop.
And then how long is your break?
Depending on the venue, probably about 20 minutes. Usually about 20 minutes,
Okay.
sometimes 30, but usually we like to get right back on there in a reasonable amount of time. So like the crowd doesn't start filtering out
Yeah.
and we want to make sure we keep the asses in the seats.
What would you say set 2 is in length?
Same.
So
So we'll
you-
do 2 90-minute sets.
Two 90-minute sets. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of music.
Yeah,
lot of
it's
music.
a lot of material. But if you've seen the show, I'm sure you've seen that like we do a lot of medleys. So a lot of the songs are kind of chopped up into various medleys, usually separated by genre or decade or type of music or whatever. And that way it's like we keep the interest of people. Not that there's anything wrong with playing songs in their entirety, but this way we keep the interest of people as the night goes along. Like if you don't like the song that's on, just give it 30 seconds.
Well,
Another one's coming up.
that's another great thing about No Filters, that this could be like, we can make a laundry list of great things about you guys. One of those bullet points is
You're
what
so
you just
kind.
said. There's medleys, mashups, more than any other band does.
Yeah, we try to keep it moving, like almost kind of like a DJ experience. Like the music is constantly going. Now, granted, we do take breaks here and there to talk to the audience, tip your bartender, do all the usual shtick, talk about the merch, talk about the website,
Sure.
things like that. But other than that, the show is go, go, go.
Well, those arrangements are not easy to put together, A.
Correct.
And B, when it's a break, what's happening is your guys are tuning and somebody's getting a drink of water. So,
Right.
That's your chance to do all that, right?
Right.
Now, does everybody sing in the band?
Everybody sings. I do not sing. I
Do you even
cannot.
have a mic back there?
I do not.
Okay.
And
cool.
that's for the best for
No, that's
everyone.
fine.
Singing is not my strong point.
Sometimes I see there's 5 people. One time I thought I saw 6 people on stage. Like,
Yeah. So altogether, as it stands right now, there are 13 members and no filter. So there can be 4 people on stage, there can be 5, there can be
But who
6.
determines that?
So it determines the show, the size of the stage. Usually when we're bringing out all the guns, including like we have a horn section that we bring out too for certain
Like
shows,
say
but
New Year's
mostly
Eve.
like New Year's Eve.
What would you
Yeah.
do for New Year's
New
Eve?
Year's Eve will have probably 6 people on stage plus horns. So
Horns.
nine people on stage.
Jeez. So is it? Do you call it like the A team, the B team, or the gold and the silver? Like, how do you divide?
Not even. So it's based on where the shows are, because a lot of the members live in like the Orlando area. So if
Oh,
we're doing a show at a place called like Boxy Park in Orlando, we'll send the Orlando team to that one because
gotcha.
it makes more
It
sense.
does.
If the show's in Sarasota,
Damn.
I'll get sent to that
Derek's
one.
brilliant, man.
He is an evil
The dude's
genius.
printing money.
He's an evil genius.
I'm gonna have to get him on the show one day.
Oh yeah, you have a great conversation with him. He has a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of stuff.
So who determines what songs you're gonna play? Is it just like does the band get the vote, or is it?
Sure. Yeah. Everybody kind of gets to like throw in their ideas. What will happen is when we're learning like a new show or a new medley, we'll put together some like reference tracks. Everybody will learn it on their own, and then we'll get together, rehearse it once, and then
Yeah,
it's on the
everyone's got to do
stage.
their homework, right?
Definitely.
Because when you're at your pace, you can't afford to screw around. I mean, it's like
That and there's 13 of us now. You know, we can't have a practice with 13 people. It would be like a 5-hour practice if people didn't, show up and do their homework. So
right.
everybody does. Everybody is super professional. Everybody does their job. Everybody shows up prepared. They know their parts. They know what they have to do. Sometimes the guys will get together and do a separate vocal practice to fine tune all the vocal parts. But it's a pretty fine-tuned machine because everybody takes it seriously. And
Now
does their
everybody's
homework.
wearing inner ears, correct?
Correct.
And you're all wireless as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Again, it makes for a very tidy stage that
Yeah.
way.
No, that's cool.
I'm actually the only thing making noise on stage. All the amps are rack system.
You have an electronic kit as well?
No, I have one at home that I practice on, but I don't bring it out.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about the electronic kits?
I have no opinion. Like I've seen drummers in like smaller venues playing electronic kit, which I think makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
especially if there's like a noise ordinance or they
Yes.
have to keep a low volume or whatever, it totally makes sense. I personally would never want to do that. I have one at home. I'm very happy to have that to practice on, but yeah, I've seen, especially now, like the new Roland kits and some of the other companies out there, they're solid. They sound really good. They have good samples on them and things like that. They've come a long way.
What brand do you like to use?
I have a Roland's. Don't ask me what model. I can't remember.
You know what's funny? Getting back real quickly to electronic kits. One time I took my headphones off and I'm listening to the guy play the drums, and it sounds like it sounded so weird. When you don't have
Oh,
your
with
headphones on.
yeah.
And he's hitting it. And I'm like, what? It just sounds really funny. Like,
Yeah, the mesh head sounds strange, and then the rubber pads
yeah,
have the most like unattractive sound
I know.
when you hit them. Again, for home use, they're great. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be playing them live, you definitely need one of the higher end kits to get like the desired effect that you're trying to get in a live situation. But they do exist.
So you guys have a lot of really cool venues you play at.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
and
We
I've-
play a lot of the same venues,
we do.
actually.
Like, for an example, I love the Twisted Fork.
I love Twisted Fork. We're playing there on Friday.
Okay, cool.
Love that place.
I have a
Stage
show.
is great.
I have a show Friday, so I can't come see you. But
Oh, that's okay.
I'm going to try to get to see you guys. It's been a while.
Likewise.
But what I do is when I'm off, I do my best to go out and see
Same.
bands.
Same.
I love 22N. I know that.
Oh yeah, we love those guys
They're
too.
on hiatus right now.
Yeah, I think they just came back.
Did
I
they?
think they just did
Yeah.
their first show back. I
Good.
think I saw Kristen post it,
Good.
which is awesome.
We're getting ready to do some of those festival shows this year.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Paragon Seafood Festivals.
Oh, that's a nice
And
gig.
then,
Awesome.
There's another thing going on downtown Sarasota. So it's nice because at
You
that
guys are
point,
killing it.
well, you get to play. It's cool. You show up early and you can see an act before you,
Yes. Yeah.
and then you can stay late and see other. So this way, I'll see friends and bands that I haven't seen. It's very cool.
Which is something you don't usually get to do, which is awesome.
Natalie, here's the cool thing about being in a cover band. I think everybody down here gets along so well.
Don't they? I think
mean,
it's so beautiful.
I have drummers that fill in for me all the time because my drummer travels a lot. If I fill in on bass for the Braden Tucky Death Rays when they need me.
I love that band name so much.
I
I
have-
hear it every so often.
Yeah.
It always puts a smile on my face.
My singer went to Boston recently, so I called up my old singer and she was around. She's like, "Yeah, I'll sing." So
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
it's cool. It's like a family, man.
It is. It
You
is. It's
know?
very nice.
Everybody gets along. There's no competition. We all help each other.
Mhm.
And let's face it, a lot of times the songs are like they're interchangeable. I mean, like there's certain songs
Right.
that every cover band's going to play.
Right.
And,
This is the
and
staples.
the audience loves it. Like
Right.
for an example, I've been singing Jenny's for the last 6 years. Now there are times I want to stick my finger down my throat, but It goes over, man. People dance to it.
And that's what makes up for it.
I
Like the
know.
people in the crowd get so excited, they know all the words, their drinks are in the air, like that makes it all worthwhile.
But
I could go the rest of my life never playing Don't Stop Believin' ever again. However, whenever we play it and people realize what song it is,
I
they get
know. I
so
know.
excited. You
It's such
can't
a great
mess with
song.
that. It's
Well,
a banger every time.
here's the evolution of me, at least, and this might be for other people too. You start off playing music to what you want to play and what you
Of
dig.
course.
And then all of a sudden you start getting good and you start getting gigs. And then all of a sudden you start realizing that it's not about you anymore,
Right.
right? It's
Exactly.
about it's about a
Exactly.
team, and it's about, producing a product.
Yeah.
So then you transform into a performer. And then from there, the ultimate where you guys are at now, you're entertainers.
Oh, thanks.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's the ultimate transition to go from just playing in your garage, getting in a cover band,
To get into
sucking,
that level.
right?
Yeah.
My first band, we all sucked,
Everybody's first
but
band
our
sucked.
parents were there, and our friends were there and clapping.
Right.
And then you get older and you get better and better and better. And next thing you know, you start learning harder things to play. And then so the full process is now you're at a point where like I'll play songs that I can't stand, but yet I'll smile and I'll play it well and
Exactly.
I'll sell it, man.
And you'll sell it.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
And you'll have a great time doing it at the end of the day, And I love what you said about that too, is like once you realize it's not about you anymore. And I think that's a very poignant part of what we do is like once you realize that it's not about you, it's about the audience, it's about them. They're the reason you have that job. They're the
Yeah,
reason you're
and
up
you know
on
what's very
stage.
important for you? You're a role model because of being a female drummer. I'm sure there's a
Oh,
lot of
thank you
women
for
that
that.
probably look at you and they're like, "That's so cool."
I don't take it
And
lightly.
your shows are family friendly, so there's kids in the
Always.
audience, man.
Always. Yeah,
Like
there's a lot of
I
kids
saw
at our
you at the
shows.
tavern on the Green. Is that what it's called? UTC Tavern Green or something?
Oh yeah, over at the mall.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was a while back, but all kids with their parents. So
Just
so
rocking out.
so you have to be extra not that you guys swear anyway, you don't swear, but like you have to be extra careful to put on a proper,
Correct.
like
There's
sometimes
certain songs,
what's so funny?
certain songs we won't do
There's
if
certain
there's kids in the
songs
audience.
like have the F word in them,
Yeah,
and my singer's smart enough to admit those, like not say it,
exactly.
like
That's all you
Alanis
got to do.
Morissette,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's like a very integral part of that song too.
That's
You
the
can't
whole
mess with
principle.
that.
That's the whole principle of the song.
Can't mess with that. Yeah, my dad told me for years, like coming up, I played in a lot of like punk rock and metal bands, and my dad always told me, he's like, if you want to really take a go at this, you got to play the songs that people want to hear. It's not about what you want to play; it's like what they want to hear. And I
Well,
was like, yeah, Dad, whatever, fine. And
I'm glad you brought
he
up your
was
dad
absolutely right.
because I want to talk about your younger days.
Cool.
Because at what point did you gravitate to the drums? Did you start off on something else and
I
then
did
or
not.
did you go right
Oh,
to the drums?
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Neither of my parents are musicians. However, music was always present in our home. My mom was very much into like the Eagles, Dan Fogelberg, Clapton, singer-songwriter stuff. And my dad is the truck driving, wrench turning redneck. It was Willie and Waylon and Charlie Daniels Band and Leonard Skinner and then my brother, who is definitely the reason that I started playing drums, got me into, Van Halen and Motley Crue.
Love that
And
stuff, right?
and then like we got into like more like punk rock and metal as we got older, Suicidal Tendencies and like things like that. But my brother is 8 years older than me, and I idolized him growing up. I wanted to do everything he did, ride dirt bikes, ride skateboards. And then when he started playing guitar, I wanted an instrument. I wanted to play something too, So I tried saxophone, I tried piano, I tried guitar, and like nothing stuck. But I would like take his like Metal Maniacs magazines and look at them and be like, oh my God, this is so cool. I want to do this. This is awesome. What is my place in all this? So he joins a band, and I would go to his band practices because I thought it was cool.
So how old was he
So
approximately?
at this point, I was probably 14 or 15. So
Okay.
he was like in his early 20s at this point. And I used to go and hang out at his band practices, and his drummer wanted to become the front man. And he was talking about finding a new drummer and just joking around. He's like, hey, I'm going to teach your little sister how to play drums. And my brother Chris was like, yeah, okay, whatever. So he did. He taught me like just this 4/4 beat, and I picked it up right away. And it was like the heavens opened. I was like, this is my instrument.
Okay, so stop right there for a second.
This is the one.
Because here's the thing. I truly believe that people are born with rhythm. I think that you can be really, really clumsy and not have rhythm, but some people just have the ability to have the rhythm. I think you were that kind of person. Like it probably came easy to you, right?
It did. I mean, it took work for sure, just like any other instrument, but it was immediate.
Like you think
as
drummers are
soon-
born to a certain degree?
I do. I really do. I think you have to be a certain personality type, And you do have to be born with a certain amount of rhythm. I think that's one of those things that can be taught, but if you're born with that natural rhythm, it just makes it you so much more of a better drummer. You know what I mean? But after trying all those instruments as a kid, it was as soon as I sat behind the drum set, I
You felt
knew
good.
that was it. That I
So
was
now
home.
at this point, did somebody then buy you a drum kit? Did you buy a
Yeah.
drum kit?
My dad bought me my first drum
Okay.
set. It was just this little beater kit that he found on like in the newspaper. And I played it every day. And I was like in my room playing along to like
Self-taught?
self-taught. Yeah. I was playing along to like bands like White Zombie and Helmet. I was really into metal when I was a kid. So those were like all my favorite
Isn't that
bands.
funny?
And then when I ended up joining my brother's band, it was a really incredible first band experience because they were kind of like a party band, but they were doing a lot of like blues and Motown and R&B. So I'm playing Stevie Ray
Yeah,
Vaughan and like
Motown's not easy to play.
Stevie Wonder and like things like that. And it was such a great first band experience. Like we had a Hammond B3 organ in the band. Like it was just this crazy
So
first band experience to go through.
you must have progressed very quickly from learning to play the drums to all of a sudden being in a band playing this kind of music.
Kind of, sorta. So that fizzled out pretty quickly, and then I went through my high school years playing in all the crappy garage bands. You know, me and my girlfriend started like this like alternative grunge band. We all wore
All
flannel. We were
women?
all women, and we were
Cool.
super
That's
into
very cool.
Nirvana and Soundgarden. And then after high school, I had my sights set on New York. I would, you know, I was lived and grew up in Connecticut, and I knew New York was going to be the next place for me for sure. And I ended up moving to I have to think about my own history here for a second. I'm sorry. I was getting ready to move to New York after high school. And then I ended up getting hired by a band from Providence, Rhode Island, right before I was getting ready to move to New York City. And I ended up moving to Providence instead. And this band was called Sasquatch and the Sickabillies. It was an all
Wow.
original rockabilly band, 3-piece with an upright bass. And it was very aggressive rockabilly. It's actually called psychobilly. And joined them, and then a couple months later, I was doing my first US tour with those guys.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was great. It was
Wow.
a crazy life experience. We toured the whole
And your
country.
parents were supportive.
They were very supportive, because they knew I was doing what
So
I
you
wanted to
became a
do.
professional drummer
Yeah,
at a very young age.
pretty much. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and did a lot of touring and a lot of shows with those guys. Joined another rockabilly band after that in Providence, toured with those guys. And then after that kind of like played its course, then I finally got to New York. So I got to New York, I actually landed in Long Island, lived in Long Island for a while, played in
I like the way you just said
all
Long
the
Island.
band.
You just
Like I said it with the King's English.
you
I didn't say
did.
Long Island.
No, but you started to go there a little bit.
I caught
I
myself.
bet you if the more we talk about New York, the more it's going to come
The
out.
more you and I talk, it's going to come out of the both of us, which is going
Sometimes
to
I
be
start
really
going
funny.
like this.
Oh yeah,
And then I
we
start
get more
dropping the
animated,
F-bombs.
and
And
then
we
we
start
start
talking about pizza and bagels.
and bagels.
Hot
Exactly.
dogs,
I love this.
Chinese takeout.
Who's your favorite?
Oh, there's nothing down here that I can go to.
I can't find anything
I know,
either.
it's weird.
Is that one? I mean, not to go
They don't
completely
know.
off topic, but is that not one of
They
the
don't know how to
hardest
make
things about
fried
moving
rice down
here?
here for some reason. They don't make it right. And
And lo mein. You
yeah,
can't get lo mein right. It's not greasy enough.
I don't
It's a
understand.
certain kind of grease in New York. I can't explain it. Anyways, but I finally made it to New York, and I was very excited to be there. And I was hungry for new experiences. So like I did the drummer for hire thing for a while. I played in a like a honky tonk band out of Brooklyn. I played in a Irish folk band. I played in a number of different cover bands. I just wanted to do whatever I
See,
could get my
so,
hands on to
but
expand my
here's the thing that
knowledge.
blows my mind, man. You're not just playing one style. You're playing multiple styles at a very young age.
Yeah, I just
And
wanted
I'm
to,
sure you're
I was
doing
a
it very well.
sponge. I just
I know,
wanted
but
to
like
learn
you're
whatever
playing
I could.
Irish music,
That was weird.
right?
That's a
Then,
weird experience.
Rockabilly.
Not weird because of the music, just the experience was very strange. Like they invited me to come play with them and fill in some shows, knowing that I had no experience playing Irish music. And I'm like, well, I'm more of a rock drummer. They're like, yeah, cool, do that. So I'm playing rock beats over Irish tunes and they loved it.
Yeah.
So it was more of like almost kind of like a punk rock.
How would you describe your style of playing at this time? Were you a heavy hitter?
Yes.
Did you have really good hands and you could do jazzy shuffling stuff?
Very.
Or were you more of like a John Bonham? Like
that right there. Definitely more of a John Bonham, definitely more of a Bill Ward. I listened to a lot of Sabbath growing up. And I didn't have, because I was self-taught, didn't have a lot of technique in the sense where like I hadn't really learned dynamics. It was just balls to the wall all the time instead of learning how to like sit back and let the song breathe a little bit.
less is more.
Less is more. So my playing style was really aggressive, very meat and potatoes, which worked for most of the bands that I played in. But that's kind of why I wanted to branch out and try all these different bands and try all these different styles, because I wanted to grow my toolkit.
Very
I
smart.
wanted to I
Very
wanted
smart.
to learn new things.
Yeah.
I wanted to. And what's really cool is, like, especially playing in the rockabilly band and some of these other bands I played in New York, I pulled from what I learned in my very first band, playing Motown and blues and learning how to swing a song a little bit. Granted, my dynamics were all over the place, but I still had that kind of groove, kind of flavor on my playing. And I remember when the Rage Against the Machine album came out. And that was a very poignant album for me because their drummer, whose name completely escapes me right now, which is a little embarrassing, was a huge influence for me because they were a heavy band, and all of his licks, all of the way he played was like very groove oriented. He had so much style behind the way he played, despite the fact that they were a heavy band. And that spoke to me a lot. So I would play along to that record a lot. And I think that actually was the beginning of me starting to learn how to pull back, how to understand dynamics, how to understand to play to the song, not just playing balls to the wall from beginning to end. So it's like I had a lot of interesting teachers along the way from the albums that I listened
Sure.
to. And
Sure.
it kind of developed this weird style going along from playing rockabilly, from playing rock and roll, from playing Motown, from playing blues, all the things. And what's really cool, this brings us to present day, I'm able to pull from all of that with no filter because we play so many different kinds of music. We do Motown, we do rock, we do pop, and I'm able to kind of pull from all those things that I've learned over the years and apply them
Right.
to
So
the gig.
you're very versatile and maybe even say a utility type of player where you can pretty much play anything.
Or
Like
at
for
least
example,
figure it
so
out
I
eventually.
have drumming friends who idolize Neil Peart.
Of course.
So what they want to do is they want to be like an octopus and hit everything they can possibly hit. There's other guys that want to be straightforward like John Bonham, right? So you could tell that that's the mentality they stuck with. But it seems like with you, with your crazy beginnings, and all the people that you listen to, it's a hodgepodge
Total hodgepodge.
of just things.
Total
So you
hodgepodge.
could probably play the intro to Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin,
Oh,
right?
sure.
And at the
Definitely.
same time, you could play some kind of more bluesy, kind of like mellow,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know.
Definitely.
So to me, it's all about the hands, man.
Oh, definitely. It's all about feel, and like
Feel.
another thing that I really learned with No Filter too, because so many of the all of the musicians in No Filter are so talented, is just play to the band. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that.
Do you feel like you're still being challenged and you're still being pushed?
Very much so.
So like, it's still like, I know like you're probably getting high adrenaline rushes when you're up there playing, right?
Every time.
You know what I'm saying?
Every
It's like
time.
I
It
don't
never
drink.
gets old.
I don't drink, and my high now is when I'm in the groove. I'm in a pocket. I'm tight, and I'm playing well.
It's one
And
of the greatest
am I
feelings
right? It's
ever.
hard to explain that to people
It really is.
because there were times when I drank before I played, and there were times when I drank on stage, and I thought I was good, but I was sloppy. But now that now that I
That
don't,
tricky alcohol.
yeah, right. Now that I don't, I'm more aware of what's going on around
Of
me.
course.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then I feed off the crowd. But it also the negative part is if we have a bad crowd or if it's like just happens to rain and there's no one around, I get bummed out. People like tell me that you gotta smile, man. I'm like,
It's tough. You have to pull from within, like if the crowd isn't crowding, you have to kind of dig deep and still put on that performance. And
yeah.
it's tough. It's a bummer. It happens.
You guys always have a full house though. I've never seen you guys not play to a full house.
We've been super lucky, especially now that we've been pounding the pavement for such a long time. But in the early days, sure, there was crowds where there was only like 12 people, or it was a big crowd, but they just weren't into us. It's what that's like. Like I don't mean what it's like not playing in front of people, but like sometimes you go to the wrong venue, that's not the right fit for you.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
it's just a matter of kind of like test driving certain venues to
Yeah.
see if it's the right fit, and sometimes it isn't, sometimes it isn't.
So what we do is when we play biker places, like we just did a biker bar
Oh,
recently.
you guys must clean house at the biker
what we do
bars.
is we change our set list. So we'll throw in more ZZ Top.
Yeah, perfect.
Like All Right Now by Free and certain songs like Hands to Yourself. People like they're just biker songs that the bikers enjoy.
Classics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic rock. Like I'm sure somebody made an album of like biker songs, like, and it's probably like all those songs are on there.
There's some late night commercial from K-Tel Communications,
Yeah.
like biker songs, 1995. I'm sure that exists.
But the bikers, just that's the way they like it. They don't want to hear anything new.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear any danceable stuff. But so now to my point, but then we'll do the Gator Club, which is one of our favorite venues also.
Great venue too.
And the Gator Club, as you know, it's a late start.
Yep.
And it's a late finish, right? And what happens is a lot of young people go there, and it gets younger and younger and younger as the night
Sure.
goes on, and
Yep.
people get drunker and drunker and drunker. So we'll have a full dance floor, and we'll start off doing some of our just basic stuff. But that second set, man, that's the money set.
Yes.
We'll just go 90 minutes of just nonstop dance stuff. Boom, 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 boom,
And
boom.
that's what's up.
Yeah,
You're playing
man.
to the crowd.
Everybody's loving
Beautiful.
it. People are going crazy. One of the things that I still like, and I know it makes me sound like a ham, but when I came off the stage one time at Twisted Fork, we opened up for a major Bon Jovi tribute act.
Oh, that's
The place
fun.
was sold out.
Oh, that's
So the cool thing
awesome.
is we got to open up for them. So I told my camera lady, I said, listen, take pictures from behind me. So now there's pictures of me up there looking like I'm
With a
owning
gigantic crowd.
like it's my crowd. It's not. It was like I borrowed the crowd. Right?
Listen, as far as
So
they're concerned, that was
I
your
know.
crowd. That was your crowd.
It's my favorite picture. But anyway, the coolest thing was coming off that stage, man, and people were coming up to me and my bandmates.
So cool.
You guys were amazing. Can I buy you a beer? Somebody hands you a drink.
What a feeling, right?
My lead singer, Brittany's drinking champagne with something like, where the hell is champagne come from? Like, what the hell?
Don't ask. Don't ask questions. Just drink the champagne.
People are asking to take a picture with them. Now, I'm sure you guys get that all the time. But for me, that was really cool. It was like, that's like my 10 seconds. That's like Andy Warhol
What a
said.
beautiful moment.
15
That's
seconds
awesome.
of fame, man.
Yeah.
I drove home like on cloud nine. I thought it was the greatest, like my life. It's like,
And you're going to have a ton more of that too, as you keep going. You definitely are.
But I'm saying, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I still get off on that and I live for those moments, even though I'm getting older now.
It's a high.
It's a high, man.
Yeah.
It's a drug. It's weird. It's like adrenaline. It's like I'm playing sports again,
Yes. Yep.
And you
Well,
must
yeah,
get that a lot.
I mean, you're up there, you're doing your thing, and to have people come up to you after and tell you how much they appreciate what you do and how much fun they had, like what's better than that? Like
Right.
I really feel as musicians, like also as cover band musicians, like we're providing a service. We're providing this space where people can come, have drinks, have food, forget about their problems during the week, and it doesn't matter what race, what gender, what religion they are. It's just a safe space for everybody to go and just let loose and have a good time. And
Right.
like, what a beautiful thing to provide for people is to have that space where they can just let loose and have some drinks and sing along to some Bon Jovi. I mean, come on, what's
Right.
better than that? That's fantastic.
And you guys, just like we do, we play the anthems, right? So, like Living on a Prayer, Wanted
Of
Dead or Alive,
course,
Don't Stop
yes.
Believing. We're doing Sweet Caroline now. Do you guys do that song?
Oh my God.
People love it.
We'll break it out if somebody asks for it. We'll play a couple bars of it, but
People go freaking nuts. You know why? Because there's a lot of Red Sox fans down here, and like if you're a
Oh, I
Red Sox
forgot
fan,
that was a Red Sox thing.
the Fenway, that's all they play.
That's right.
So it's like the minute we start doing that, people start screaming, "Red Sox, go Sox!" And I'm a Yankee guy, so I have to keep my mouth shut.
But you give the people what they want. I'm proud of you. Good job.
That's going to be the name of my next tour. Give the people
Mhm.
what they want.
That's why we're here.
So what are some big plans you guys got coming up for 2025?
2025 is going to be bonkers, and I'm very excited
Is
about
it possible to upstage 2024? Because that was a big year for you.
2024 was really good.
I mean, that was your biggest year, probably.
I think 2025 is going to be different. I'll just say it that way. So in 2025, I explained a little bit before how we have two no filters running at the same time. So in 2025, we're going to be unveiling a new version of No Filter.
A third version?
A third version.
Wow.
So there's going to be a third band called Tempo Tantrum. And it's going to be like a tribute to the 80s and 90s.
Love it.
Costumes, the whole nine
Love
yards.
it.
They're going to have their first show at Motorworks actually in January. So I'm really excited to go see that. I actually get to be in the audience for that one and watch them do their thing, which is great. So we're going to keep the original No Filter still going, which I will be a part of. And then in, I think, March or April, we're going to do a short East Coast tour. We're going to go back up to Myrtle Beach and play House of Blues again. I think we got a couple corporate events that we're going to be doing up there. Come back, and then we are going to pack up and go up north for 3 months and attack the Northeast market.
That's awesome.
We're going to do Atlantic City. We're going to do upstate
God.
New York.
That's huge.
And that way the other No Filter can keep going down here while we're up there
Sure.
pounding
Now,
the
at
pavement.
that point, do you take on a tour manager? Like, is that point when you're going up to the Northeast, there's got to
All
be
in-house.
Really?
All in-house.
Because that's still like logistics. That's a full-time job,
It's
man.
a lot. And again, Derek and Matt, very good at running this business. They're very, very good at what they
But
do.
like getting hotels,
All of it. All of it.
getting rides back and forth.
Yep.
The gear's got to be there. I mean, like that's a lot
We've
of
got it
stuff,
all
man.
figured out. And it's a collaborative effort. It's a team effort. You know, everybody kind of pitches in, figuring out things like gear and logistics and things like that. And who's available for these dates or who needs to fly home on these dates. There's a lot of moving parts, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out for sure. But yeah, I'm really excited to actually go up and play in a new market for the summer. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're living the great life, man. You're living the
I
dream.
am a very lucky
So
girl.
what are you doing? What do you do when you're not practicing or performing? Like, tell us about some of your hobbies, your interests.
Hobbies and interests. I am a huge museum nerd. I love going to museums, and we've got a ton of great ones around here. I love going to the Ringling and going to art museums and things like that. I also have my own business that I've been running on the side for almost 20 years now. I sell vintage clothing on like eBay and Etsy, and I started it when I started touring, like way back when, and it kind of grew as the years went by, and during COVID, it blew up. There was just all these people shopping online. So I started an actual LLC for it, made it a legitimate business, and now I sell to like costume departments at Netflix and Saturday Night Live and these huge vintage
So
collectors
where do
and
you
things like
find these
that.
clothes?
Well, it being Florida, there's all sorts of estate sales and yard
Right.
sales happening all the time. So on my days off, I'll go hit some of those places or like find some cool vintage shops or whatever. And then when we're on the road, I'll go off and
Well,
on
plus
my
you
own and
you
look for
you
stuff
have a
too.
good eye because you have good style.
Oh,
Like
thank
you
you.
always look cool.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? So like you're almost like a walking brand yourself. Like you know what I'm saying?
You're the best. Thank you so
Not
much.
like really think about it. And you also look like an Avenger. You ever get that?
No, but I'll take it. I like
No,
that a lot. That
the
actually
Black
makes
Widow.
me
You look
very
like
happy.
Black Widow.
Oh, nice. Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Love
No, that's really cool.
that. Thanks. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing when I'm not working with the band. But the band definitely keeps me very busy. But one thing that's super cool is that everybody in the band genuinely really likes each other. So even
That's
when we're
so
off,
important.
it's so important.
You know what's
Oh my
funny?
God.
That we had a conversation about that with a previous
Yes.
guest. It's you could be the greatest musician in the world,
Yep.
but if you don't get along, and there's not a team, it's not everybody like people in my band, we want to like go over each other's house on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like we do
Exactly.
things outside of the band and outside of music because we love each other.
And that's a
Do
beautiful
you feel the
thing.
same way with
Oh
your
my
band?
God, so much, so much. Again, so very lucky that all the members of No Filter really genuinely like each other. Like we hang out together when we're not working. We'll go up to Epcot Food and Wine together for the day. Last summer, a bunch of us actually met up in Ocean City, Maryland, and partied up there for a few days together. Like, genuinely love these guys. But a funny part about becoming a member of No Filter, just to give you like a little insider information. So, like when somebody is auditioning to be a member of No Filter, when we have open auditions, obviously your audition video is very important. You know, do you have the chops? You know, can you play multiple instruments? Can
Plus,
you
does it
sing
have to
these
be a female
songs?
drummer? Is that a prerequisite?
No, it's not a prerequisite. It's just worked out that both the drummers are female.
Okay.
The other drummer's name is Caroline. She's from Chile. She's just a beautiful and talented human. She's
Did you
fantastic.
sit with her and like maybe tutor her a little bit and tell her this is
Very little,
this is
very, very little.
so she kinda
She figured
knew.
it out.
Okay.
Yep, she figured it out on her own. And what's super cool is that she's put her own spin on a lot of the songs, and I love watching her play because I'll see her do things that I don't do, and I'm like, oh, I'm stealing that. That's very cool. Yeah, she's great. But part of the vetting process is obviously, are you able to play the songs? Are you able to play multiple instruments? Can you sing the songs? Do you have good stage presence? Honestly, I think the most important part about being a member of No Filter is, are you a goofball? Because if you're not, we're going to eat you alive. Like everybody in the band is so much fun. They're so goofy. We're goofy on stage. We're goofy off stage. Everybody's trying to make each other crack up when we're on stage. And the audience sees that and they get a kick out of that. You know, and it's just us being us. It's just us in our natural habitat, having a great time, playing a bunch of fun music and just
So
loving life.
I think that translates into the person that's out in the audience that doesn't know you guys, that sees you smiling and sees you guys laughing and poking each other and maybe in like
We love it.
you know, sometimes like I'll cut off my singer just on stage and like get in her way and kind of like push her off to the side.
People love that
you
stuff
know?
though. They love that. They love that like camaraderie and that goofiness on stage because it makes you human and it makes you relatable. You know, like it makes it a more fun experience to watch a band like that, I think.
Well, what we're going to do during the break at home when people are watching this is that we're going to have your schedule in there. I'm going to put up the
Oh,
links for
thank you.
your website. We're going to let people know how they can find No Filter, and then you can see all the dates because I'm sure you guys have a kick-ass website, right? You're probably doing Facebook,
Sure.
all that
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
right? Go tonight.
Instagram. Yep. all the stuff.
Right, because it's very important because there are a lot of people that come down here, they're seasonal,
Yep.
and they're like, they wanna see you, and they don't know necessarily how to contact you.
I've literally had somebody told me I had somebody tell me that they planned their vacation around our shows. They were from the Northeast and they planned it around when we were going to be at a certain venue so they could come see us on
Have you guys
vacation.
ever done any weddings or been
Oh,
asked to do
so it's
weddings?
a big part of what we do. We do a lot of weddings,
But
a lot of
how
weddings,
do
a
you
lot of
fit
corporate
those in, man?
events.
They must be weekday weddings.
So one of the reasons why we started a second no filter was because of
Oh,
that
right,
right
right,
there.
right.
Like we would have a whole, years worth of shows booked and then all these wedding requests would come in. So it was a matter of, picking and choosing like what we would be doing. So starting the second no filter meant one band could be at the public event, one band could be at the wedding, everybody wins.
So if somebody went and saw, let's just for argument's sake, let's say no filter A,
Yeah.
and then they went and saw no filter B,
Yeah.
does it look and sound exactly alike?
Yes.
Like they wouldn't know.
I mean, granted, you're talking about different musicians, different approach, things like that. The show is inherently the same. It's going to be like the same medleys, the same, obviously
The
each band,
material's the same.
the material is relatively the same. We
Right,
switch up the material depending
because
on
you
where we're
interchange.
playing.
Like if you had to play drums on the other band, you know their material. You would hit it out of the park, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she can come in and fill in for you. And
Always. Yep.
right.
It's
So
like
probably the same
totally
thing with your bass,
interchangeable.
same thing with your keyboards,
Yep.
your guitar.
So that way, whatever member is available to play can come in, play the show. No need to rehearse. Everybody's ready to go. Works out
So
really nicely.
the money keeps getting printed and just gets rolling. You guys are rolling in the dough. I have
No
nothing. I have
complaints.
nothing but respect for Derek and the fact that he's been able to build this thing. He'd be a
He's
great
a maniac.
He'd
I
be
don't
a
know
great
how
person
he
to
does it.
interview.
Yeah, I'm sure you would love talking
I
to him.
mean, he must have a lot of experience. Like was he like in the theater when he was younger, or
You
like
nailed it.
did he like
You
make
nailed it.
sets? He made his own
Yep.
sets and production.
Total theater kid, grew up in the theater, was in the theater, performing, doing set design, and now he gets to parlay all of that into no filter. So that's where all the production and all the sets essentially that we're playing on
Now,
come
is there
from.
any relationship to No Filter and T.L. Jenkins?
No relationship, but we're great friends. I love
Because he
TL.
puts on a quality production
Oh
too.
my God, his show's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? Like
he's one of the ones that I will always go see if I have a night off. I love going to see TL play. He is dynamite.
he's just a one man wrecking machine. I mean, he
He's
just goes out there and
amazing.
kills it. Got the sound, the lights, the videos.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm so proud of him because he had this vision for starting this show. So he used to play in a 3-piece band called National Act, and they played on the beaches a lot, Three Daughters, a lot of Pinellas County stuff. And I don't think he left the band. I think the band just kind of fizzled out. And he wanted to go out on his own. He had this vision, and everybody was like, "What are you talking about, dude? Nobody's going to come see a one-man band show." Boy, were they wrong.
is it possible?
Kills it.
Could you guys ever play on the same bill, or is the material separate enough?
I think we could. I think if that's something that was called for, we have enough different material where we could do that. Plus, our shows are so wildly different. Where even if there was crossover between songs, I don't think anybody would care.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I saw you at White Buffalo in Sarasota
miss
many
that
many years ago.
place. I
Many years ago.
loved that venue.
And a woman was sitting next to me at the bar, and I don't know how this all started, but she told me that she was your hairdresser.
Rhonda. Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about too. She's a Sarasota girl too.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny. She goes, "Oh yeah, she's." And I think during the break, I remember you came over and you were signing autographs or taking pictures. So like she wanted to introduce me to you at the time because I was just I was like a fellow musician.
Is that when I met you the first
Well,
time?
no, because what happened was you were so busy, and I understand you got to pee, you got to get a cold drink, you got to say hello to your family, then you got to go back.
I'm the biggest jerk. I'm so sorry.
No,
I
no,
didn't
no,
come
no,
and say
no.
hi to you.
No, I try my best to say hi to people during that break, but I know
It's crazy. It's
like,
crazy.
especially if the
You
bathroom's
gotta
far
pee.
away.
You need to hydrate.
Right.
There's so many things that have to happen.
It's funny because Renee who was on from Gas House. She goes, she actually looks forward to not talking to anybody on her break. She goes
I feel that.
immediately. She leaves and she rests her voice.
Yep.
She'll have something cold to drink. She changes her outfits because she's all about that, right?
So cool.
Because she says that it takes more to her to answer questions than it does to sing. So she just
Oh,
assumed
I
to have
get
some
that.
kind
Yeah,
of quiet,
of course.
period.
Of course. She's a badass. I really enjoyed watching her interview.
Yeah, she's great.
I've never gotten to see Gas House Gorillas. I've seen their videos and they're great. And like they have a really great stage show too. Like
Well, first of
great
all,
song choices.
their players are amazing.
Oh, for sure.
Joey Fingers
Yeah.
is on the bass. Okay. He's amazing. He's a friend of
I
mine.
feel like I've heard you mention him on the show before.
Yeah.
actually.
Because him and I use the same bass strings. So it's hysterical because all he talks about is these blue magic strings. It's almost like you think he would own the company. Like, so, and I said,
Hey,
and
love what you love.
if I outlive him and I'm going to go to his funeral, I'm going to take blue magic strings and put him in his coffin.
I'm sure he would really
He would
appreciate that.
appreciate that, right? Because he'd have them in heaven when he was up there. But I've been blessed to have interviewed a lot of really good performers. And as I told you earlier in the green room, I got some really good guests coming on
Yeah, you do.
that I'm excited about. And what's happening is that the show is actually starting to take off a little bit. And people are starting to find it and they're starting to enjoy it. Because think about it. Okay. How would people get to know you? You're so busy. And when you're performing, so how are we going to know that you're from Connecticut and, your history, right?
That's cool, man.
Your little
That's
side
so
business,
cool.
right?
Now I got to tell you too, because like I've had a lot of road trips these last couple of weeks, and I've been listening to your podcast. I listen to podcasts when I drive, and I've been listening to yours, especially since you invited me on the show. I wanted to see what you're all about. And I really enjoyed it because, like you just said, I'm getting to know all my fellow local musicians.
Yes.
Like bands I've been hearing about for years,
Yes.
bands that are
And
buzzing.
there's a
And
lot
like,
of good
and there's a
musicians
lot
down
of
there.
really good
But
musicians.
as we talked about earlier, there's a lot of cool people too. Like,
yeah.
like
super down to
Yeah, man.
earth, going through the same trials and tribulations we all go
Kristen
through.
Lee is a great example. She's a sweetheart.
She's a doll.
To me, she's the ultimate front woman. She's so poised, classy on stage.
Very classy.
She knows how to conduct herself. She doesn't have any props or any lyrics or anything like that. She's just up there singing it.
And a total powerhouse on
You know
stage.
what I'm saying? Like she owns it, man.
Yep. And as
And
nice as the day is long.
my young singer is learning from her, and my youngest singer now, I noticed she's taken away her iPad, which is her security blanket.
Nice. Good for her.
She's memorizing stuff.
Yep.
She's reminding to walk over here, walk over there, smile. You got to remember these things.
Yeah.
Like there are times when I'm playing, and I don't know if drummers have this. Well, drummers don't because you really can't go anywhere. But like you get at least,
We're trapped.
you try to pick your head up and smile once in a while because
Yeah.
otherwise you're like. Rah. But I have to remember to smile, and I have to remember I'm wireless, man. I can move. Like I can just. Why don't I just move a little bit?
You're like, I can literally walk to the other side of the stage.
Yeah. So
now, is it like a concentration thing for you? Like, is it something like that, or you're just in the moment?
I'll be completely honest. I have so much on my mind when I'm performing that sometimes it's not about the music. I'm thinking, oh my God, how many seats are we selling this place out?
Of course,
yeah.
Because you care. You care about what's going on.
And meanwhile, I shouldn't be thinking about this. As the band founder and the band leader, I want to make sure that we earn our money. I want to make sure that we get paid.
Sure.
I want to make sure my bandmates get paid. I want to give it the best show, but then I have to worry about.
You think about all the little things that go along with that.
And like stupid things. And I'll always ask, and I'll ask you this question too, because I ask everybody. What are some of the funny things that you've done on stage? For an example, I've been known to pull my own cord out. Like I'll be performing and we don't have a clean stage like you do. So like I have my pedal box and I'll have some things. And all of a sudden, like I'm playing and I'm like, what the hell? Where'd everything? And I realized, I just pulled the damn plug out with my right foot.
That's totally something I would do.
You ever have any things like that?
Oh my God, dude. So many. I think one of the most, this is just the thing that comes to my mind first. One of the most embarrassing things that ever happened on stage. Now, we don't drink a lot on stage. Like everybody will have a cocktail on stage, toast the crowd, tip your bartenders, things like that. But no one's getting wrecked on stage.
Sure.
The job is too tough.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we really don't have time to drink on stage.
You want water anyway because you're sweating your ass off.
Exactly. We're a Florida band. We need to hydrate as much as possible. Anyways, this is a long time ago, probably 2019. We're playing at Sandbar in Inglewood.
Sure, I know.
And somebody brings, and it's not uncommon for people to bring a round of shots to the stage. Happens all the time. We'll do the shot. Usually I'll do like half of it. And
you're praying that it's something mellow, like
exactly.
Like not 151.
This time it was not. It was Jägermeister. And I'm not unfamiliar with Jägermeister. It's not my favorite.
I think it's nasty.
It hits me in a way I'm not comfortable with. But anyways, I did the shot because I'm not a punk. So I do the shot and we're playing. And I don't think I had eaten anything before we went on stage. So I just took a full ass shot of Jägermeister on an empty stomach. And I'm playing and I'm starting to feel kind of warm. And I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. Okay. And then for like a split second, my brain completely shut off. I'm going around the kit to do a fill and my body just stopped.
Sure.
And I'm sitting there like this. And all the guys turn around and look at me and they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
You froze for a second.
It was just like, I floated out of my body and was looking down at myself going, girl, wake up. Don't be a bitch. You can handle that Jaeger shot. So embarrassing. And everybody in the crowd is like, she okay? She all right? They thought they had a stroke or something.
But sometimes we make mistakes or boo-boos that the audience doesn't know about. For an example, we have a set list in a certain order. And a lot of times my guitarist will start the song. But I'm realizing as he's getting older, his eyesight's not,
Oh,
as good.
no.
So he'll look down and he'll play the wrong song. So at that, what do you do? At that point, you have to do it.
You gotta roll with it.
Right.
Gotta roll with
You
it.
gotta, so meanwhile, I'm getting ready to tune because I realize that that song we're about to do next has
Oh,
an
and then
intro.
you have to tune to the other song that he's
All of a
playing.
sudden, I'm like, holy shit, boom, 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 boom. So like, I have to jump on, No, what we do is we group them so that doesn't happen. So like all the straight tunes are there, and then there'll be a section of half step downs. So the cool thing is once you drop down, then you could stay there. You're not
You
going
didn't
back and
have
forth,
that
not going back and forth.
opportunity.
So there's things like that, like that. But the audience doesn't necessarily catch on to it.
No, they don't. They don't. But it's like it's something that you can all like laugh about later, which is again, it's part of being human. We had a Halloween show that we did recently at Three Daughters up in St. Pete, and
Did you wear a costume?
yeah, we all dressed like we had like a Day of the Dead, like a Dia de los Muertos kind of skeleton costumes with the makeup and everything. But we had brought out this really cool giant inflatable like demon that we put behind the screen so that the hands would like come over the screen like this. It
Nice.
looked awesome. It was really cool. While we were playing, a breaker tripped. And I only knew that the breaker tripped because my fan shut off. And I was like, oh, the crew guys will see. They'll know what's up and they'll fix it. So I'm playing, and all of a sudden I see the two giant red hands coming over me. And I'm like, it was deflating.
That's
the whole
funny.
giant, like
Did
20
it, like,
foot
cover you and you're
inflatable.
trying
It
to play
was
drums and it was
such a
being covered?
spinal tap moment. It was
That's
hysterical.
funny.
And I'm like, help, help. I'm still playing.
hysterical.
I'm still, and the guys aren't turning around because I'm still playing. They don't think anything is wrong. People in the audience are like pointing, like, help her, help her. And like the crew guys are like running around. And then finally Chaz turns around. He's like, oh my God. He like runs around. He's trying to gather
I hope
up
that
this,
that's on
like,
video
deflating.
somewhere. That'd be funny. to
No
watch.
video. I am so bummed because it was so freaking funny. Definitely a spinal tap moment.
Speaking of that, do you guys record your shows and then listen
We
to them for
do.
reference?
Yeah, we do. We will sometimes do like a board recording, or sometimes we'll just take like a GoPro video, and it's just for quality control. We'll go back and watch the videos and see what needs to be
Sometimes a
tweaked.
fan will have great intentions, but they'll make a
I know where you're
shitty
going.
video with their phone,
Yeah.
and then they'll post it, and I'm
And
like,
it's
"Damn."
god awful.
Yeah.
Or they post the video like right when you first go on, and if it's at a place at like Twisted Fork where people are still sitting and eating when you first go on, there's like nobody in front of the stage. It's like, bro, come on, what?
Yeah.
Get a little closer to the stage at least. This is terrible.
What?
But yeah, the sound quality is always awful.
Yeah, I know. So, but there's nothing we can do about that with the YouTube.
No,
and the Facebook.
exactly. And you have to appreciate the fact that people are trying to
Yeah,
share your
yeah,
band
yeah,
with
yeah.
other people.
We have a guy named Sal. He's a friend and a fan, and he takes really good videos. So
Nice.
I was happy with what he put on this past weekend.
Excellent.
Because I'm a pretty harsh critic of myself.
Where were you at last weekend?
We played a bar called Bar 17 in Punta Gorda. It's a
I've heard of
biker
that.
bar.
Yeah, of course.
And I sing lead on a few songs. And I had just gotten out of the hospital, believe it or not.
What?
I had like this intestinal thing going on.
You good?
So I'm good, 100%.
phew.
But no, I was able to play. But my voice wasn't the greatest. And but the way it recorded and the way it came off, like I was like, okay, cool. I sounded all right.
Nice.
Because the one thing I do is I freak
Even
out.
after surgery, good for
I
you.
freak
That's
out
awesome.
if I sound like I'm, we all do, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, of
I'm
course. We're
very.
always going to be our own worst critic for sure.
What's your policy when somebody comes up to the stage and wants to hear a song? There are people that don't understand that we have programmed a performance and it's been tailor made for the venue and it's going to be awesome.
Right.
But they'll come in and they want to hear Sweet Home Alabama, or they want to hear something like. I mean, we're very polite, and I try not to talk. I mean, you don't have this problem because you're back there. I'm up front, so they try to talk to me.
Yeah.
And because I'm a nice
while
guy,
you're playing, while you're
because I'm a-
singing a song, right?
because I'm a nice guy, I'll try to talk to them back, even
Of
though I
course.
shouldn't, because I can't hear them. They can't hear me. But that my first instinct is like, I want to answer their question. Sometimes they'll come with the phone and they'll type in like Sweet
Oh,
Home
we get that a
Alabama.
lot. Yeah.
So
People with the phone.
what do you guys do on that?
Usually, I mean, well, the guys that are in the front will do their best to talk to the person that wants to put a request. Sometimes they'll tell them, hey, just go grab a napkin and write it down, and we'll try to play it. Sometimes we'll do it right on the fly, whether we know it or not, and we'll totally botch it. And that makes for.
Or sometimes you kill it because you knew it and it was like.
Sometimes we kill it, we know it. Or sometimes we totally botch it, and that's funny. And that's like part of the show. Like, hey, we tried, like, thanks for coming. But when we were in Mexico a few weeks ago, one of the guys in the band started playing a very famous Mexican pop song that none of us knew. He just started playing it acoustically on the guitar, and the crowd went bananas. And I'm sitting behind the drum set going, should I try to play along? I don't want to botch the song because I don't know what it is. And there was another band that we were playing with that was local from Mexico, and they were side stage, and they're looking at me like, go, just do it. And I've never heard the song before in my life, but I started playing along, and then Eric got in on the bass, and we played the song, and they were so thrilled that this band from America played like their favorite pop song, even though
Was it like a 3 chord, like you could figure it out?
it was very simple, but
Good.
I still don't know if we played it correctly,
No,
but they were so appreciative
yeah,
that we
man.
tried. And
No doubt.
sometimes that's all it is. Like sometimes they just want you to try. Like try to play my favorite song. And if you try it, if it's a couple bars and it's sloppy as hell, they don't care. They're just happy. They're happy that you tried.
I think that people like kind of like idolize musicians sometimes. I look up at the stage and they say, "Wow, that's so cool. I wish I could do that." And they kind of like maybe for a little second they put themselves in our positions and they're kind of like fantasize about they can be playing music,
Sure.
you know? You get some of that sometimes?
Oh, definitely. I think the ones that get me the most in the heart are the kids that
Yes.
want to talk to you. They want a drumstick. They want you to sign something of theirs. I met a little girl at TT's when we had played there who started taking drum lessons after she saw the band
Awesome.
and is still taking lessons now. And that makes me so
You got
happy
like a
that
little
like
fan base, man.
it's so awesome. Like to actually inspire a kid to pick up an instrument, drums or whatever, or sing or anything like that. Like that's a gift.
Well,
That's
again,
awesome.
another great thing about your band is that you're so family friendly that,
We try to be.
little kids can come in and check it
We
out
try
and
to
dig
be.
it,
It depends where we're playing. We can get super ratchet if we need
Unless you're
to.
playing that that nudist place you guys play at. What's
Oh,
it called?
Caliente? Oh, that
Caliente.
place is wild. It's so much
Tell me
fun.
about that place. So what's the deal? There's an
Absolute
inside and there's
blast.
an outside.
Yeah,
So
so
what's
there's
the rule on the clothing?
so it's clothing optional no matter where you are in the resort.
Okay.
We play clothed,
Of
obviously.
course,
Let
yeah.
me just make that very clear right
Yeah.
now. We play clothed. There's a poolside stage and there's an inside stage in the clubhouse. And usually in the clubhouse, there's like a themed party, there's like a costume theme or something, and people will come out in all these crazy costumes and stuff like that. These people are living their best life. They are just happy. They're living, the lifestyle that they've chosen, and they're just free and
So, but
they're
because it's a
lovely.
private club,
Yeah,
they're able to walk around naked
totally.
as opposed to like a city place or like a
Oh
public.
yeah. I mean, this place is out in the middle of nowhere in Land O'Lakes. They can get
Okay.
totally buck
And
ass naked and walk
they just
around.
enjoy that. They just
They
like to be
love
like
it.
that.
They're so
Interesting.
happy. They're really
Interesting.
happy
Now,
people.
is that kind of strange for you as a performer? Like you're looking out in the audience and you might see things you don't necessarily want to see.
My very first weekend playing with No Filter, I had a gig at Caliente, and the guys were like, "Okay, if you're going to be uncomfortable with this, let us know." I'm like, "Nah, I'll be fine." They're like, Wear mirrored
Yeah.
sunglasses until you get used
I was
to
just
it." And
gonna
I'm
say
like,
that.
that is excellent advice because you have to kind of train yourself not to, to maintain eye contact with a fully nude person standing in front of you. I keep hitting your microphone. I'm sorry. But the people are so warm and so inviting and so sweet. And they're just so happy that you just get numb to it after a while. You don't even notice.
Oh yeah. Oh
After a
yeah.
while, you
No,
just get
yeah.
used to it.
It was that first time, and then
Yeah,
it's
they're
good.
just having a good time.
So, getting back to some things about you before we wrap up the show.
Sure.
What are some of your favorite things to eat, to cook? Do
Ooh.
you have any pets?
I am currently fostering a cat named Charlie. He's 13 years old. He's an orange tabby cat, and he is psycho, and I love him. He's so much fun. He's a great cat. Um, Food, I love going out to eat. I love going out for a good
Are you
steak,
in St. Pete?
sushi. I'm actually in Palmetto.
Okay.
Yeah. But St. Pete is usually where I go when
But
I
the
want to
great thing
go
about
eat.
Palmetto is it's so quick to get to St. Pete.
That's why I live there.
You know what I'm
So
saying? But yet it's
Palmetto is like
Palmetto. It's
right
still
in the middle of
it's
all my
yeah.
gigs. It's like a perfect central location for everywhere we play. But yeah, there's not a whole lot going in Palmetto yet.
I mean, if you
Yeah,
like
it's starting
the cool
to
thing about
build up.
downtown St. Pete is that the ethnic types of foods, like for an
Oh
example,
my God, there's great
lots
places
of
to eat up
Thai
there.
and
Yeah.
everything. I
Great
mean, everything
sushi.
you want, deli food, bar food,
Yep.
barbecue. That's the great thing
Great
about, and there's
seafood.
a nice energy in St. Pete. You know
I
what I'm
love it.
saying?
It reminds me of, because I spent so much time in Brooklyn, Williamsburg specifically. St. Pete reminds me of like a tropical Williamsburg almost.
Interesting.
You've got like that music scene, that art scene. It's like a little bit weird, a little bit artsy. It's definitely getting more gentrified as the years go by, but I still love going
Well,
there.
I like to go to Janice.
Oh, I love
Haircut.
Janice.
Have you
Yeah,
guys
of
ever played
course.
there?
We have.
That must have been fun.
Oh my God, what an experience. That was awesome. That stage is amazing. The
Yeah.
sound system,
And the cool thing
amazing.
is when you're playing and you look out, then you see there's people up there on the balcony.
Up in the VIP section. Yeah, that was great. We played there a couple years ago, and that was a really great experience. That was really fun.
Did you ever do anything with Raymond James or the Buccaneers or anything with the Rays?
We did. We've actually played outside of Ray J for a Bucks game. We played outside for a tailgate party for Alabama versus something. It was a college game. I don't remember, but we actually opened up for, who's the guy who sings "Drunk on a Plane"? Dirks Bentley.
I think so.
Is that Dirks Bentley?
Could
We
be.
opened up for him. That was a great experience. And then in 2018, possibly one of the highlights of my career. We got asked to be the house band for the Tampa Bay Lightning,
Very
and we
cool.
actually played inside
Very cool.
the arena, between like commercial breaks,
Sure.
yeah, all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff. We were playing whenever there wasn't a
I
game
understand. I
happening,
know how that
and
goes.
that was one of the greatest experiences of my life because there was 19,000 people in that stadium. I got to watch myself play on the Jumbotron while I was playing. It was the most just surreal experience. And the amount of love that we got from the fans was incredible. We handed out every business card we
Well,
had, and like,
hockey fans are
oh,
just rabid
they're
fans to
so
begin with.
awesome. They were so just appreciative. They loved what we were doing. We ended up getting like a ton of weddings and a ton of corporate gigs out of that. The team was great to us. I dyed my hair blue for the games, and the Lightning management absolutely loved that. They
Very
thought
cool.
that was fantastic.
Very cool.
So absolutely incredible experience.
As far as your bucket list, is there anything left as far as to play? Like, for an example, I know this may sound crazy because people think I'm insane, but I want to do a residency in Key West. Everybody says be careful what you wish for because it's
Are you
brutal.
talking about sloppies?
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
painful.
dude. Oh my God. All right. So I've done that gig 6, 7 times. And yes, please do it. If you have the opportunity to do it,
It's 6
definitely
nights in a row.
you have to experience it at least once. It's brutal,
Yeah.
but it is so much fun. By night 5, you think you might die.
And your singers are probably dying by night
Oh my
3,
God.
right?
I have it easy. I don't have to sing. I can drum all night, no problem. But like also by night 5, I'm starting
So
to definitely
it's
feel
10
it.
p to 2 a, right?
Yes.
And then you really can't like you're not supposed to go out and drink and do all the fun things because you have to rest up
Says
for
who?
the next show. But I mean, I would probably like not, not that I drink anymore anyway, but if you went out and had beers and went to the beach and then you have to do a show, that'd be pain. That'd be gosh.
I think the best part of it, so they put you up in a band house. They have an
Yes.
apartment, like a 4-bedroom
Yes, I heard it's not the
apartment. It's not. They've actually refurbished it in like the last year.
Nice.
I heard they put like new furniture in there and stuff. But what? It's a band house. Like, they're not going to put
You just
West
need
Elm
you
furniture
just
in
need a
there,
mat to lay on, and because you're tired of,
For sure, exactly, because you're
right?
exhausted,
Yeah.
probably drunk.
Yeah.
But we would play the shows. We would go out for drinks after, get something to eat, and then we would all come back to the band house, and we would end up staying up till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning because
Just
we're just
laughing.
having so
Just
much
laughing your ass
fun.
off.
And the experience playing at Sloppy Joe's is awesome. It's a blast. The crowds are out of control, but it gives you a chance to have like a little adventure with your bandmates, which is, I think, even more special and more important than the
Yes.
shows itself.
Yes.
It's definitely like a camaraderie thing.
Yeah, it's like the Big Brother thing,
Totally. Yeah, we're all living in a house
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, should have cameras in there.
Oh my, thank God they don't. I hope they don't.
What about Hard Rock? Did you play the Hard Rock?
I personally have never done the Hard Rock. The band did Hard Rock before I was in it.
That's cool for the resume to say you did a Hard Rock.
Yeah, right. But we did do House of Blues, which I was really excited about. That
Orlando?
was no, actually up in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
That was last March. I think we did that, February or March.
Are they all built the same, like more or less?
Pretty much. They're
same
kind of like the
architecture,
same.
yeah.
Kind of the
'Cause I
same
saw the
format.
Black Crows, believe it or not, play the
Oh.
one in Orlando.
Oh, that must have been fantastic.
many
I
years
love
ago.
that
Many
band.
years ago, before they broke up. Now they're back together, which is I'm so
Are
happy.
they really?
I love those guys.
I
They're
love them
so
too. I had
good.
no idea that they
I
got
just
back
saw
together.
I just saw them in Clearwater, I think, or somewhere. They were so freaking good.
Love
man.
that band. They're so
But
good.
so anyway, so I've seen some bigger acts in there, and then so that's cool. Like they have a lot of different types of acts that play there.
Yeah.
Do you any Disney stuff? Universal?
We have done some Disney. We did a Disney wedding. I'm trying to think of like what other Disney things that we've done. That might have been it. Might have just been the one Disney wedding, but we've done stuff all around Orlando. Yeah, we've done some wild stuff. We opened up for Vanilla Ice once.
No kidding.
What a darling.
What, was he
One
cool?
of the
You got a
nicest
chance to meet him?
people I've ever met. So it was him and a drummer and I think a DJ, and they had gotten a backline drum set. This was at Shepherd's in Clearwater.
Okay,
So the drummer,
Shepherd's is beautiful.
Oh,
I
Shepherd's
love
is
that place.
gorgeous. Yeah. So the drummer had gotten a backline drum kit brought in, and it was a piece of trash. So one of the guys from the crew came running to me and was like, "Is there any way?" And I was like, "Oh my God, of course!" And like he was so appreciative and so grateful. I think I gave him a hi-hat stand and a cymbal stand.
So he used your stuff.
He used my stuff.
Very
I was
cool. That's
more
very
than
cool.
happy to let him use it. And Vanilla Ice himself was just so nice, complimentary, grateful, so pleasant to everybody at Shepherd's, pleasant to us. His crew was so nice to us. They
That's nice
helped
to hear.
us. Like
What
a
other
cool guy.
stars did you open up for? Like big names?
We did. Oh, there was that Dirk. I want to say Dirk Bentley. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not a country person, but
Either
I
am
know
I.
he sings drunk on a plane. That was a great experience. The stage crew for that show was second to none. There was like 20 stagehands on stage. As soon as we were done playing, they're like piranhas, just pulling all the pieces off the stage and helping us get everything back into the cases after. We opened up for a band called Magic. I think that's about it. I mean, like as a cover band, opening up for 3 major acts, I think is
No, it's cool.
is pretty awesome.
I got some really good news.
What's that?
So get this, Jacked Up is gonna open up for Blue Oyster Cult.
Stop
At
it. Are you serious? That's amazing.
Thunder by the Bay. So
Congratulations.
I grew up listening to these guys. You know, Don't Fear the Reaper, Godzilla,
That is like
ETI, all that great stuff.
that
right?
is like the cowbell. That is
So,
the cowbell
yeah,
band.
right. And you know, people are gonna go crazy when they play that song.
Oh my
right?
God, they're gonna lose their
You know,
minds.
I looked at their set list because they're touring right now and they pretty much play the same set list. So I'm trying to figure out where that song's gonna be because the place is gonna erupt.
They're
But
gonna lose their minds.
they're giving us a 90-minute opening act. So
Very nice.
that's a lot of material, right?
Excellent.
So we'll play from 6 to 7:30, and then they're supposed to come on at like 8 and play till 10.
I'm so happy for you. That's
That's
awesome.
so cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's
gonna be
gig.
Thunder by the Bay is a big deal here. It's a once a year thing. Have you know about it?
Make sure you get another one of those photos from the back of the stage.
Yeah.
You need a new one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. But I want to meet Eric Bloom and
Sure,
Buck Darn and those guys. So
yeah.
I don't know what the rules are on that. Like for an example, I'm pretty much we have to pack up and go. I get it. You got to clear the stage,
Right.
you know. But I'm wondering if I'll be able to hang out a little bit, maybe get them when they're coming out of their trailer.
At least meet them,
Just get a
say
picture,
hi.
man.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Most of those guys are so cool. I mean, like the majority
They're
of
from New York. They're from like
oh
Long
well,
Island,
there
yeah.
you go. You've got an instant connection right there.
You know.
Who's your favorite pizza? Just ask them that. It'll start the whole conversation.
Well, I'm sure you've been to Grimaldi's being in Brooklyn, right?
Oh, Grimaldi's, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
But and don't laugh at me, but it's I've been Ray's girl through and through. Original Ray's is my favorite.
Well, you know what's so funny? I grew up on Ray's too because
Did you?
I worked in Manhattan.
Oh, of course. So yeah,
and
you
there were
definitely
Ray's on
know
every
Ray's.
corner. But when I went to a place called Patsy's, okay, it's in Harlem,
Patsy's.
First Avenue in Harlem,
Okay.
and it's John Lombardi or Lombardi Pizza, the world famous. When that apprentice named Patsy Lancieri, as a young man, left there, went up to open up his own place, and they thought he was crazy because back then Harlem was like a whole different world
Of course.
because everything was lower Manhattan back then. This is like the 1920s. He started out there and he started selling it by the slice, and they started getting upset. There's a whole documentary about this. He got in trouble because the pizza commission. They were like five.
pizza
It
police.
was like 10 cents or something. He was selling slices for like 5 cents. Something like people were going crazy that he did that. But it's pizza.
There's a documentary on this?
Yeah, there's.
I need to find this. I have to watch this.
I'll send you a link.
Yes,
because,
please. Please
because
do.
It's real
I
New York
will
history. Like
so watch that.
these ovens, like they can verify that this was the original oven, coal, you know, blah
Oh
blah
my
blah.
God.
And anyway, the pizza is so unique, and it's such a New York thing because of the coal oven and because of the water.
Patsy's?
It's called Patsy's. Now there's
Patsy's.
2 Patsy's. There's not the Patsy's in Midtown. This is the one that Frank freaking Sinatra used to go to.
Oh my God.
And there's a big
That's
story. There's
awesome.
2 big stories I'll tell you real quickly. The back room was done with the Godfather scene. Was shot in the back room of Patsy's in
Oh my
Harlem,
God.
particularly. Yeah. And then Frank Sinatra was famous that he had a party in LA. He lived in Palm Springs.
Okay.
And he had his private jet. He coordinated this. It flew into Manhattan. The pizzas were made, brought onto the jet, and the jet was then they put in special containers.
Shut up.
He had a party, and he wanted his guests to have Patsy's, so they flew it to Palm Springs, and then he got it. And I don't know if they had to heat it up or whatever, but then he served his guests New York style cold oven Patsy's pizza.
Unbelievable. That is so baller. I just want that level of fame. Can I just have that?
you
Just where
imagine
I
that?
can have a plane go to New York and get pizza for me
Yeah.
and bring it back here to Florida.
That'd
Is
be
that,
awesome.
that's not too much to ask, right?
That'd be
That's-
fantastic.
Yeah. I'll get
You know what
some
I'm
for
going to
too.
do? Here's the deal. I could probably make that. You're going to laugh. I'm going to find a way to present you with a freaking New York coal oven pizza one day when you're playing. I'm just going to show up and say, hey, this is for you.
I will collapse
I'll-
upon myself
I'll
like a
help my
neutron
friend-
star.
I'll
I
have my
will
friend
not-
overnight and I'll reheat
I'll be like,
it.
guys, I can't play. I got a pizza I need to deal with. I'll
that
see you
funny?
tomorrow.
Because you know what's funny? We take our
awesome.
pizza very seriously. A lot
We
of people-
take our pizza very, very seriously.
Well, listen,
Well, the pizza down here is a different story. So
it's, you know what? It's people try hard to make it.
yeah,
right
we
here,
just got to
you know?
treat it like a different animal. That's all.
I'll tell you a couple quick places. Because do you ever venture down to Sarasota, being in Palmetto? Okay,
Yeah.
there's 2 places. There's a place called oh God, it's on 41. It's a pizzeria. It escapes my name. The name escapes me. Gosh, I have to think about this now. But there's 2 places that I really like. One's called Atmosphere. I know it's a
Yeah,
weird name.
never heard of it.
It's a weird name. But it's on Beneva and Fruitville. And
Okay.
it's in a plaza. And it's all Italian speaking guys. And
Love it already.
they don't have a cold oven, but yet they make them razor thin and with the San Marzano tomato,
Ooh,
you know, and
yes,
the
yes,
really
yes.
expensive mozzarella.
So good.
Napoli is the one I
Ooh.
want to tell you about.
Okay.
Napoli is so good that they opened up a second location in Lakewood Ranch. They call it like Osterio 500.
Nice. There's a lot
But
of New Yorkers in
but
Lakewood Ranch too, so that makes
but the
sense.
owner will tell you if you're interested. He shows you the oven, and the oven was imported from Italy, and
What?
they had to put it back together when it got
That's
here because it's
nuts.
all those guys are like these are really professional bakers, man. Like these guys don't mess around,
They're artisans.
and artisans,
Yes.
and the oven has to be a certain size, certain temperature.
I love
Isn't
this.
it crazy,
I
man?
love it. Send a girl some links. I need to go check these places
I
out.
will. I will.
That's amazing.
Well, Natalie, it's been a great hour talking
Oh
with
my
you. So
God.
yeah, no, you're
Likewise.
it's
You're so much
fantastic.
fun to
Well,
talk
thank you,
to.
and so are you.
Thank you.
So I want people to come see you. So we're going to put up all the
Love it.
websites,
Thank you.
all the information. We're going to put up some pictures of you guys too.
Awesome.
And in your final words here, what do you want to say? What are 3 things you want to say that you love? What are the 3 things you love about playing music right now?
Oh my God. The people, the friends, the fans that come out to see us, they give me life. My bandmates, which are some of my best, they're my family, and the crew too. The whole No Filter family. I'm so, so grateful for them. And I would just say, as a third thing, if there's anybody out there who's thinking about starting a band, picking up an instrument, don't wait. Do it. Do it tomorrow. Do it today. It's one of the greatest gifts that life can give you is being able to play music, especially when you can play music with your friends.
That's great advice.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me,
All
friends.
right, Natalie.
Appreciate you.
We'll see you.